record on the computer. I'm also going to save the chat and ask each of you to sort of just stick your name in there and maybe your place of business. And then that will help us sort of keep track of who was on the call. So I'll hit save chat. So this morning, I just want to review a few best practices. Both of you guys are, or all of you folks here are pretty old hat at this, but we love to see your face, so camera on. Mic on mute until you're called on to introduce yourself. Like I said, the session will be recorded. Notes and links are on our heartofellsworth.org page. And there will be time at the end of the phone call for questions for either our presenters or just general questions that we can either address here on this call or connect you with the correct person after the call. So that's also good to stick those in the chat feature as you think of them. I want to thank you all for joining us today, and I also want to thank Machias Savings Bank for making all of this possible. This program seems to have been pretty beneficial to our community, to our business community, I guess I should say. So, so thank you for being on here, and thank you to Machias Savings Bank. And also, Shannon Byers is on the call as one of our presenters today, but Shannon has been behind the scenes helping out quite a bit these past month and a week that we've been running this program. So. Just to start off, I'm going to attempt, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it very well. I have not done it before, but I'm going to attempt to kind of call on each of you because let's see, how many do we have on the call? Yeah, it looks like we've got quite a few, but not too many to do. So maybe what I'll do is first call on George. If you could just introduce yourself and name the business, and then maybe a little bit about what you can offer and what you need from your community again. We'll try and do that.
Hi, I'm thanks, Cara. I'm excuse me, George Chappell, and I work with my wife Susan in her CPA practice during tax season, and in the off season of tax season, I do my own home remodeling, building, construction stuff. So and she's not able to make today's call, unfortunately, but in the tax practice, we're still extending offers to help anybody who needs some help. Just navigate any of these things, get their documents together, whatever. We're doing it for all of our clients as well as anybody without charging for that. And yeah, that's about it. And we're getting by. We live in Trenton, and we're pretty much working from home. It's good to see you all.
Thanks, George. Good to see you. Betsy?
Hi, Betsy Arnson, Therapeutic Massage for Wellness. I'm offering free consultations over the phone on muscle-related aches and pains and relieving those. And since last week, when Leslie Harlow made the comment that we're going to be on the front lines if and when we open up, I've been working on the question, how do your customers and clients know you and your staff are safe? And as a customer or client, how do I know I will be safe when I'm transacting with you? So that's my assignment for the week.
All right. Thank you, Betsy. Good to see you and to hear from you. Jana Richards.
Hi, all. Good to see you. Jana Richards, Economic Development for the City of Ellsworth. Here to listen, here to help connect you to any resources you may need. Here to make a plug for our webpage, which continues to be updated. Yeah, that's about it. Good to see everybody.
Thanks, Jana. Dale?
Hi, Dale Hamilton, City Council. Thank you for letting me be part of these meetings to hear what your needs are.
Thanks, Dale. I think I have Anna. Anna? Okay, maybe we'll come back to you, Anna. Heidi?
My unmute is having issues. Hi, everybody. Heidi Stanton Drew, the Artful Aid. I provide marketing assistance to arts organizations and artists. And today what I wanted to do very quickly was just share a nice success from last week's call. Because I was on this call, I connected with Cynthia at CEI, and I really don't think I would have done that on my own without this networking. So I want to thank you for that. She was incredibly helpful, answered a lot of my questions, affirmed that I was sort of on track with some of them. And I also was able to pass her information on to several clients. So I feel like I finally was able to, share some resources that were helpful. And I just want to thank Cynthia, CEI, and Heart of Ellsworth for this format, because it really was helpful. So thank you.
Thanks, Heidi. Carrie Sands.
Hi, I'm Carrie Sands. I work at College of the Atlantic, and I've done a few entrepreneurial projects with Cara and other partners on this call. This is my first one of these calls, so I'm mostly here to listen and hear directly from small business owners in the community what kinds of things you're tackling these days. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Carrie. Melissa Denbo.
Good morning. I'm Melissa Dem. I'm Vice President of Corporate Giving and Community Relations, and we are very excited about this project, Carrie. You're doing a phenomenal job, and I'm excited to join today. I just wanted to say we last week reported on the $100,000 we've already given to food insecurity and shelters throughout the state, and on May 4th, the board has approved another $200,000. For me to pass out through grants, and that, like I said, May 4th, the guidelines will be available on our website. So please be looking for that. We're very grateful for the board of directors on the funding that they've given to us to help the state through this crisis.
Thank you, Melissa. And it's so nice to hear these sort of real-time, once-a-week updates. Thank you so much for everything that Machias Savings Bank is doing. Shannon, I'm actually going to skip over you as you're one of our presenters this week, so thank you for being on the call. Hey, Tom, can we hear from you?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm Tom Beal of Mac Revival and Archangel Computers here in Ellsworth. We remain open, and I want to extend some helpful suggestions for ergonomics. You're working from home and you're trying to set up a home office. It's very easy to find yourself at a desk that's too high, and you end up putting pressure on your wrists and things like that where you otherwise working. So if you have any questions about that, how to set up a nice workstation for you, make sure that if you can, get your monitor set up so that it's at eye level. The top of its eye level. That way you're not doing stuff to your neck and things like that. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to send questions my way.
Thanks, Tom. Paul?
Hi, Paul Marcosian, Flexit Cafe and Bakery, as well as Finn's Irish Pub. We are currently closed at both locations, but we're considering a plan to reopen one of them first and then possibly the other one, mindful of the considerations that Betsy mentioned earlier about making sure that our staff is safe and that also our customers feel that we're conducting business in a safe way.
Thank you, Paul. It's great to hear from you, and we can't wait until you folks open back up. Sarah Bowden.
Hi guys, Sarah and the baby from Sugar Mags. I don't have tons and tons to say. I kind of feel like I've changed into a little bit more damage control mode, or maybe I shouldn't say damage control, but kind of feeling like I'm worried about funding, as I don't have a payroll. It's just me, and so I'm kind of looking at what I need to put in place to stay open and pay my rent, looking at July, August, September, with no sales coming in. I have to be honest, I guess, and share with this group that I have I have some unresolved feelings about hearing that Southwest Harbor has canceled the fireworks. I think that there's, some good and some bad sides to all of this about what we need to do to stay safe and think about what we're going to do about tourism this summer. So I appreciate these calls. It's great to just kind of feel like I have other people in the same boat, because I have to be honest, I'm getting more scared rather than feeling like I'm having more solutions. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sarah, for that extra bit. Those sorts of things are always helpful for us to figure out how we can further help and where the areas of problems are. So thank you. Nicole Grahowski.
Hi all, good to see you on this sunny day. It's pretty weird that we had snow the other day. And glad to hear from you all. And I have a little bit that I can share near the end about communicating with the Department of Economic and Community Development about how to carefully phase in a reopening of the economy. So I can chat about that later.
Thanks, Nicole. Great to hear from you. And yes, at the end, we will certainly make time for that. So thank you. Louis?
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. My name's Louis Lucchini, State Senator for most of Hancock County. I'm just on as well to listen. And if I or my office can be of service, reach out anytime. So good to see you all.
Thanks, Louis. Cindy Wood from the Ellsworth American.
Hi, Cindy Wood from the Ellsworth American. I'm the managing editor, just here to check it out and listen.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Let's see, where are we going next? David Cole, Manager Cole.
This is a very lonely place these days. Jana Richards, our point person as the Economic Development Director, but I'm here to make sure that all departments of city are doing what they need to do, and we're with you and here to listen as well.
Thank you so much for being on here. It's really great to see so much city partnership on this. It's wonderful to see your faces and to directly connect with all of you. So thank you for being here. Phyllis Young, Heart of Ellsworth Board President and Interim Executive Director of Woodlawn. Thank you, Phyllis, for being here.
Yeah, I'm actually in my office today, which I don't do very often, but every once in a while I have to come in and do some things. You know, I'm just on the call to listen. We are trying to project the date that we'll open the museum. Property is open for recreation on the trails, and you know, we're just trying to figure out, you know, how we're going to spend. You know, we have our big antique show, which we haven't called yet, but you know, we're trying to make the best decisions for the program and for the community. So, thanks for giving this call.
Thanks, Phyllis. Board member Nate Hansen, thanks for being on here, and small business owner in downtown.
Well, roving business owner. Yeah, I'm Nate Hansen. I'm one of the board members of Heart of Ellsworth. I'd just like to thank Machias Savings Bank for being so helpful to so many other business owners and myself that I'm aware of. I think they've been doing a really huge effort, often quietly. So I wanted to say thanks. I do have one question that I'd love to hear addressed regarding some of the state licensing duties at Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. There's some licensing that will hold me up if we do get to reopen at some point. I had a licensing exam scheduled for April 1st that was canceled. And so I'd be interested to hear if there was any plan. We're not hearing from Inland Fisheries and Wildlife of whether they've got any thoughts on when that might get back underway. Thanks. Good to see you all.
Thanks, Nate. Jody, thank you for joining us this week. I don't think last week I got to call on you, so thanks for being here.
Thank you. This is really good for me to hear what everyone is doing. And thank you for the opportunity to be able to share. I'm with Hospice Volunteers of Hancock County, and while, like all of you, we've had to suspend our in-person services, we're doing all we can to continue to serve patients and caregivers and those who are grieving via electronic means. Our volunteers are very active providing support in those ways. We're doing some educational programs via Zoom and Facebook, And we've got some support groups starting, including one for caregivers being at home, caring for their loved ones with less in-person support than they've had in the past is bringing up a lot of need for support. So please refer folks to us and we will invite them to be a part of that online support group, and reach out via our Facebook page or our website if there's any way that we can support someone that you know or someone in your family. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jody. Julie Vidham, board member and part of the Machias Savings Bank team.
Hey, Cara and everyone. It's nice to see your faces today. A sunny Friday. So I'm just on the line to listen and be here as a resource for you. And very interested in hearing how everyone's managing through all this and whatnot. I did have a personal experience to sort of share with Louis and some of the legislative folks. Still not getting any unemployment for either child. It's been 4 weeks of applications and foolishness, but they provided an email yesterday, won't work, that they want something sent, an email sent for something. So just, I'm hearing from a lot of folks that they're having similar struggles. I'm wondering, you know, we were on the telephone over 4 hours yesterday on hold. So just kind of nuts, I think. That part's frustrating. But on a good note, it's sunny and it's Friday.
We're going to skip over Chris Rector. He's one of our presenters today, so we'll skip over Chris and go right to the Grand. Nick Turner at the Grand.
Hi everyone. Good morning. Good to see you all. Time's flying. Kind of crazy. We did qualify for the PPP, so I do have staff back on working, and we're spending all our time just thinking about how we're going to open when the time comes and communicate trust to everyone, that they can trust that we've done due diligence in preparing the place to be safe and healthy for everyone. But I'm always available for any discussions or help or anything anybody might need. And it's great to see everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Brian, it's good to see you. Brian Langley.
Hey, thanks. I made it on. Had some fun trying to figure out all the passwords today, but it's nice and secure. It's keeping and got my docs out yesterday. We're planning for a mid-June opening. We're reformulating what we do and how we do, like everybody else in this business. At 1 o'clock, I have a Zoom call with Hospitality Maine, which we'll be talking about a 4-point phase-in of how to bring restaurants back online, statewide. And then thinking that we should, as an Ellsworth business community, be thinking more locally about what that might look like here. Let me give you an example. I spent a lot of time on the phone with Bob Merrill from Merrill's Furniture. He never has 10 people in his store ever at one time, yet he can't be open, right? So it makes no sense for some businesses that are all inherently really safe to operate, and yet he was telling me that folks are able to buy furniture or whatever or not if they go into Walmart. So there's a lot of real frustration in people's voices out there. So maybe we should take a look at it from an Ellsworth perspective, and nobody knows Ellsworth better than we do, and how could we be safe and put together some kind of a survival and then revival of the Ellsworth economy.
Excellent, Brian. Thank you for that. Lori Chase of Coastal Interiors. She's here. Lori.
Hey, am I unmuted?
You are unmuted.
Cool. Yeah, it's a crazy week. I actually had customers today. Woo! I don't know what's going on, but I don't know. It's been a tough couple weeks.
Well, thank you, Lori, for that. It's nice to hear that you have customers in downtown Ellsworth. That's good to hear. In a little bit, I'm going to mention a poster project that Lori and I have been working on, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the call. So, Matthias Kamen. is here.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, Matthias Kameen. Sorry, there was a little bit of technical difficulties earlier. I was supposed to be moderating for Cara. I apologize. But I'm here. I'm a brewer at Fogtown, currently on unemployment, and we are making steps to sort of ramp back up as long as everybody keeps buying beer to go on Friday through Sunday and doing deliveries, which we're doing for free in the local area and on MDI. So that's been doing pretty good for us. Yeah, just here to hear what everybody else is thinking and doing and how everyone else is getting through this thing. Thanks.
We're going to, I'm going to skip over Amanda Tupper. Matthias, thank you. And you'll probably take over as moderator once we get past this part. So Matthias will be calling on you folks and fielding the questions afterwards. So that will be a great help to all of us. So thank you for volunteering for your community yet again, Matthias. Amanda Tupper, I'm going to skip over you because you're our first presenter. And then I think the last person is Jody Wolford Tucker. And hopefully she can hear us and maybe introduce.
Hi, Kara.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I already spoke.
That's
I'm
okay.
on twice because my computer doesn't have a camera. So I'm on both, my phone and.
Perfect. Thank you. I was thinking we didn't have two Judys, but thank you so much for that. Well, thank you everybody again for being here. It is so nice to see. We have 28 people on today's call. I am very pleased. So thank you all so much for being here. One of the things that I do want to mention, because there's a couple of different eateries here on the phone, and we've been talking a lot about reopening. One thing that Heart of Ellsworth has done this week, we made an eatery page on our website that directly links to each of the different eateries that we know of in the downtown vicinity that's open. So if you log on to heartofellsworth.org and then you click the Eat page, which is in the nav bar at the top of the website, you can go and see all of the different eateries that we know of that are open. And when you click on them, it goes directly to their website, which then that will provide either their menu, operational hours. And if there's anyone on this call that has an eatery that's getting ready to open up, please do let us know so that we can get down to your place of business, take a photo of you in the doorway to stick with our website formatting. Thanks, Heidi, for that tip. And we will be linking directly to your site or to your Facebook page. That is our way of being able to promote businesses that are open in downtown. And if this effort works, we're going to try to do our best to extend it to other industries that are present in the downtown. So thank you all very much. And I do encourage you, it is Friday. Please order from these downtown businesses. Please do safely practice ways to pick up and to support our small businesses in downtown. So moving on to our community partners. Today we have Amanda Tupper here from Machias Savings Bank, and she's going to talk a little bit about some updates from the banking industry.
Hi guys, I apologize. I don't know why I can't get my camera to work right now, but it's lovely to see all of your faces. I really enjoy connecting with you every week, getting to know all of you, along with hearing your concerns and how can we help. I know I heard Sarah, I sent her a message, please contact me. I'd like to figure out, if we can help you. It doesn't matter if we're your bank or not. That's not the point of this. The point is to keep you guys in business and make sure we can help you in any way. I know we talk every week. I've kind of given you guys updates. Machias Savings Bank had just shy of 1,300 PPPs that we were able to get approved. We are still closing these as fast as possible. 1,300 in about a week and a half. It's quite a few loans, and then we were given about 10 days from the secured date to close all these. So we have a whole closing team. We are working, around the clock just to make sure that we get this money to you guys as fast as possible. My suggestion is definitely, if you're not in contact with your bank, get a hold of them. I don't know what other banks are doing. I know that Machias Savings Bank, we have so many options for you guys. We can do skip payments on your commercial loans and re-amortize. We can do interest-only payments for you guys. We're helping so many people that aren't even Machias Savings Bank customers with these paycheck protection programs. I know the second round is coming any day now. We've got lists upon lists of applications that we've never stopped taking applications. We just kept taking them. We've got them all the way through the underwriting process on our side so that we can make sure for you guys that we get these through the SBA as fast as possible to secure as much funds as we can. One thing I wanted to mention, I was kind of taking a minute to myself last night scrolling through Facebook, and I saw Close Encounter, and I don't know if she's on here today. I don't see her face. Is it Susie, I believe? Susie from Close Encounters. She was doing a live, and it was so awesome. There was about 30 people on there. I know I saw Beth Bendel on there. Just great, and I loved hearing her appreciation when somebody said, "Oh, I'd like to buy that shirt you just showed." Or, you know, it's kind of fun to see the different ways that we are thinking of to be able to continue to stay open, quote unquote, to be able to continue to service the people in our area. So I know these are hard times, but we'll figure it out together because we are all in this together. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We can certainly try to get the information to you as fast as possible. I think that's all I had, Cara.
All right, perfect. Does anyone have any questions right now for Amanda? Because we're a little bit ahead of schedule, or kind of right on schedule. We might be able to do some questions in kind of real time.
I'll ask a quick one.
Sure.
Amanda, have you seen any indication that the deadline for fulfilling the PPP, I know that as written, it's like 8 weeks from the origination of the loan. Have you heard any talk about extending that deadline for using the payroll?
No, I haven't. So according to the terms, the day that you sign your PPP starts your 8-week period in which you have to use the funds. Something that I even talked to my husband about last night is my concern is you have these funds now. I know you, Nick, you said you have the funds for the grant, but a lot of places aren't able to open because we're still on the mandatory shutdown. And so that's going to be a struggle for businesses to employ their people or try to get their businesses back open so that they can use the funds appropriately and then be eligible for the forgiveness. So at this point, the SBA, I think their main focus was, okay, let's get the funds available to everybody. And now they're focusing on, okay, how do we do the portion out as soon as possible. At this point, we don't have the guidance from the SBA. I do have a little fact sheet. I don't mind sending that over to Cara. It basically has all the information that we have at this point. It might be helpful for some of you who have a few questions.
Yeah, we can send that out when we send out a link to all of the video and everything on our page. So yeah, that would be great. We're happy to pass that along to everybody. Thank you for that. Thanks, Nick, for the question. Are there any other questions that maybe would be great for Amanda to answer?
This is Nate. I have a quick question. Is there something, the EIDL was originally the immediate fast money. It was supposed to come in to be the stopgap. Now I think for most people, the PPP has come in quicker. Is there something we need to do in order to not end up with an EIDL that turns into a loan, since that's supposed to just, my understanding is that won't be a grant above and beyond the PPP. Do we need to stop that EIDL, or any advice there?
So I've only heard of one person getting the EIDL at this point, and she also qualified for the PPP. She had to refund the EIDL, so she had to give back that money because the PPP was more beneficial. So I don't know of a way to stop it. I think you would just have to reimburse so that it doesn't turn into the loan like you're saying.
I can add a thought to that. I checked on that too, Nate. We got the $10,000 immediate injection, which is, I believe, forgivable. It's a grant. It's not, we just got that. And then when the loan offer comes around, you just decline it. The loan part of it. You can just decline it, I think. Yeah, I think that's what I was told, is when the offer of the loan hat comes along, we'll just decline that part of it because of the PPP. I think.
Great, thank you. If anyone feels like their question wasn't completely answered, please feel free to type it in the chat feature. And again, we'll connect you after the call with.
Yeah, I just have one comment, Cara. It's Leslie. My understanding from my accountant in my bank on the EIDL aspect of the loan, if you were to get both the PPP and an EIDL, then you can take the $10,000 of the EIDL and transfer that into the part that will be forgiven on your PPP.
All right, thank you, Leslie, for that. That's
You're welcome.
Very helpful, totally helpful. Is there anyone else that has any other questions for Amanda? All right. Amanda, thank you so much again for all of the hard work. I feel like you're answering emails at 11 o'clock at night, 3 in the morning, and at noontime. So I would say that you guys are going above and beyond. So thank you so much. Next on up on our list is Chris Rector. Oh, wait a minute. Before we call on Chris, that's right. Thank you so much, Nicole. We have a few new people that have joined the call. The first one is Natasha from Steamy Buddha Cafe and Yoga. And Natasha, if you could just sort of say hello to all of us and maybe share a little bit about what's going on with you folks and what you folks can offer the community. And I don't know if she can, maybe she can't hear me or we can't hear her. Okay, well, we will move on.
It looks like she's just stepped out of her screen for a minute.
Oh, okay, well, we'll move on to Elsie from Healthy Acadia.
Hi, thank you. This is Elsie Flemings, Executive Director of Healthy Acadia, and happy to sit in. Bethany Arnson reached out to me, and we are, I think probably many of you know who we are. We're a community health organization serving primarily Hancock and Washington counties, and we've been in the thick of it in terms of transitioning our programming, and also it's in order to keep everything going, and then also being a resource and considering how we can best support communities in responding to crisis. So very happy to be here, and from the community health perspective as we support the health of our local economy, which is critical. Can folks hear me? Jody couldn't hear. Oh, I just saw.
You're a little quiet.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that, but I'm Elsie with Healthy Acadia. I'm happy to be of support however I can from a public health, community health perspective.
Well, thank you, Elsie. Thank you so much. And the other person I wanted to make sure we called on was Leslie Harlow. She's with Paul Marcosian. Just wanted to kind of make sure that we heard from everybody on the call. And so, Leslie, can you introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Leslie Harlow, and I'm the co-owner of the Maine Grind Building downtown here in Ellsworth. And I also own Ironbound and soon to be sold Sullivan Harbor Farm Smokehouse out in Hancock.
Thank you, Leslie. And Natasha, we see that you're back. If you could just introduce yourself, please. We're happy to have you on the call.
All right. Now you finally got me. I've been here all the while. Sorry about everything. So this is Natasha. And with Steve, we have Steamy Buddha Cafe, Steamy Buddha Yoga. We've got Sanctuary on Church, where I do Ayurvedic work. Steve does osteopathic treatments. We've kept the cafe open from 11 to 2 for takeout. David's one of our favorite customers. Thank you, David. It's been tough. We are trying to plan for what's going to happen when we're able to open in terms of seating space and being very careful with protocol and still making people comfortable. I am very interested in how we roll out the yoga, because for me, the yoga helps all of us be healthier and stronger, because this is not going to go away. It's just going to be there for some time. I'm very happy that Betsy has started taking on like leadership on how do all the massage therapists or hands-on workers come up with protocols that can help the government of Maine to figure out what the protocols could be for us. And I'm looking forward to figuring out how to do it for the cafe and also how to do it for other parts of the business. That's it.
Thank you so much. And Natasha, it's great to have you on here, and it's great to have you folks, and welcome to the community. We're so happy that you folks decided to choose downtown Ellsworth as your new home. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Next up, Chris Rector. He is the regional representative for Senator Angus King's office, and we are so glad that he had the time today to be here. Chris.
Happy to be here, Kara. Thanks for the invitation, and thanks to everyone else who's on the call. Nice to see my former Senate colleague Brian Langley there, and Senator Lucchini. You guys are doing some great work, and David Cole. I'm a former retailer, so I feel your pain, every one of you who are trying to survive this uncertain time. And I think I liked Brian's expression: survive and revive. Those are two important words. I'll add three more: patience, persistence, and resilience. I think those are three bywords. The story about trying to get unemployment for, I can't remember whose son it was, or sons. It's a journey, and everyone is working as hard as they can, but I think the capacity of all our systems is really taxed beyond its, almost beyond its capacity, because we were never designed to be have a nationwide situation or a statewide situation that's as profound as this one. Kara, you asked me to speak a little bit about broadband as one of the topics that everyone seems interested in. You know, it's fascinating to me. You couldn't have a more stark illustration of the need for statewide broadband and nationwide broadband than the one we're experiencing now. A number of students in the state of Maine who are being homeschooled currently, or schooled at home with their instructors, don't have ready access to broadband, and so they may not be getting the instruction that they deserve. It's just demonstrating so clearly the homework gap that we have around the state and around the country. I think this may be one of the game changers in broadband penetration around the nation. As we look forward to additional monies that will undoubtedly be coming for stimulus to the economy as we try and make our way out of the situation that we're in currently. There's a lot of talk in Washington about infrastructure spending. And some of that may be roads and bridges and ports and some of the things that you would expect. But my suspicion is this is going to drive the conversation about broadband as a public utility in a broader way. And it's going to be very apt to drive some significant funding that will be prepared, I think, in Maine and elsewhere to take advantage of. And the other thing that I would encourage people is to think about the bond that was passed by the legislature and that will be going out to the voters, and be sure that they're supporting that $15 million bond, because it may be a small sum in the largest context of things, but it can be matching money for other federal money that might be available. I know you probably have lots of questions, and I know you've got a presenter from SBDC. I've been on several Zoom calls lately. I apologize, I'm on my phone. It's the first time I've done a Zoom call on my phone, and it's a little disconcerting. It's small and I can't see all of you, but I wasn't able to get in on the other method. SBDC has been a terrific resource. We really are very fortunate here in Maine because we've got some. You've got CEI, you've got SBDC. We've got some terrific folks out there. I know that Mainstream Finance from Penquist is also available for helping folks, and is a resource for some funding. I think the word is the president was to sign the bill today that was passed by Congress finally last night that refunds the PPP. And I think, as we heard, there are a backup of applications that are waiting there. So if you intend to apply for the PPP and you weren't in there before, be sure you get your application in immediately. And the conversation about EIDL was also correct. That is, you can take just assuming that you qualify for a portion of the emergency funding, which can be up to $10,000. Be sure you can take that money and don't need to sign a note for additional funds. So you don't need to sign on to an agreement to borrow money. And for some sole proprietors who are struggling to get by right now, as soon as it's up and available, and I know they're working very hard to make this happen, sole proprietors may be better off applying for unemployment benefits that they normally wouldn't be qualified to receive. They may be better off doing that than some of the other routes in terms of funding. So that's the information that I have, and I'm happy to answer questions. My email, if anybody wants to reach out to me, is Chris, that's CHRIS _Rector @king.senate.gov. I'm sorry, I'm not so facile with this phone that I can type that in and talk at the same time. But
that's okay, Chris. I can put it in the chat feature for you.
Okay, it's Chris _Rector. That's perfect. You've got my contact information, Kara. So if you'll share that.
Yep, I will put that in there right now.
Great. And just to be clear, I'm the regional representative for Senator King, and I cover 4 coastal counties. I'm speaking to you from my home in Thomaston, where I live, and I've been working out of my home office now for 6 weeks today. But I cover Knox, Waldo, Hancock, and Washington counties, and I'm really happy to see all of you on, and I'm available to help in any way that I can.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. It was, I'm gonna stick this in the chat feature. I private messaged that to somebody. Thank you so much, Chris, for being on the call. Does anyone have any questions for Chris right now? Again, we're kind of we're just on time. We have one more presenter afterwards. So if there are any questions directly for Chris, feel free to raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask. Let's see.
Chris, greetings.
Hello, David.
What do you think, crystal ball, another tranche of stimulus money for relief to state and local government?
I honestly can't give you a prediction there, David. That was I'm afraid that elements of this have become obviously partisan, as you've heard in the news reports. I know that the Senator King was holding out for both help for hospitals and help for state and local governments. As a former governor, he has an acute knowledge of the he has lost revenue from the pandemic, and he was working hard for that. I don't know what my crystal ball's no better than anybody else's, I don't think, at this point. So it's certainly something that is a focus of our office and our policy team, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that there's funds available to both help the state. You think about it, the revenues that are lost, not just state sales tax revenue, gas tax. The Department of Transportation is going to be challenged to meet the needs that they have, and there's so many other areas, and then municipalities are really suffering as well. So I don't have any crystal ball, but I can tell you that we'll be working hard to try and get something in, whatever the next package is, and that is also whenever it is. I understand Congress is supposed to reconvene on the 4th of May, assuming things are moving in the same direction that trajectory they seem to be right now, and we'll hope that comes to pass, and then the real work will begin to get done.
Well, that's what I was looking to hear. The senators four square behind that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
It's Chris, Dale Hamilton, a member of the Ellsworth City Council.
Yep.
What are you hearing around the push to have antibody testing available? My biggest concern is the idea about having testing. Just the regular test of positive is not really going to tell us how prevalent it's been in the communities. And the antibody testing is really going to be the key in terms of that comfort about the economy. And if we're going to use metrics of testing, once we get more testing, there are going to be more people who are positive, and we could be shutting down the economy unnecessarily. And so I think the antibody testing is critical.
I agree with you, but I know nothing more than probably what you know. In other words, I've followed that discussion on the news. I know that the senator has been pushing for the federal government to be more active, both on testing of all kinds, because until we have both antibody testing and whether or not you've got the disease, it's going to be challenging to make informed decisions about what we do in terms of opening the economy up in a sensible way. But I don't have any inside track. I'm sorry.
Are there any other questions directly for Chris in the crowd? Let's see. I think that well, Chris, thank you so much for, again, for being here. Totally appreciate you reaching out.
Happy to be here and happy to join anytime that I can fit this in my schedule if you are doing these in the future.
Well, we will add you to our running list that has grown quite a bit in the past few weeks. We're very pleased about the amount of folks who want to be on this call. So we will add you to the list. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thanks.
Moving on to Shannon Byers from SBDC and Coastal Enterprises. Shannon, there you are.
Hey everyone, glad to be here. I've been in a lot of Zoom meetings recently with a lot of resource providers, and this is my favorite meeting because it's a mix of business owners and resources. And I think this is really unique. And I feel like through this group, it's going to be this grassroots effort to help recover, Hancock County, Ellsworth. And so I think lean on us as resources, but know that the creativeness and the ability to adapt is going to come from the individual businesses. And I think that's exciting. And I think we're already starting to see some of that, which has been really fun to watch. And we did a webinar for planning to reopen. If you missed it, it is on the SBDC website. And there's some good, just broad information, but then also some practical information as well, as you're starting to think about what does this look like to reopen. Sorry, that's my intern in the background.
Shannon, do you happen to have the link for that you could stick in the chat?
I will. Yep, I'll put it right in there.
I forgot to.
And
yeah.
there's other webinars. We've been doing weekly just question and answer webinars where we briefly go over whatever the program is we're getting the most questions on for that week, and then answer questions covers the EIDL, PPP, and unemployment. And it's a chance just to either ask your own questions or go and see what other business owners have for questions as well, because that can be just as useful. And then the other piece is if your business is doing something really cool and innovative or unique, I'd love to hear about it. We've been getting contacts from just different news media outlets, and they want to hear from business owners. So if you're doing something really cool, let me know. I'm happy to connect you and get that information out there. And then Cara, I'll take your lead on our little surprise guest that we have. We have a message that we were really hoping this person could have been here live. Technology prevented that, but the person did record a little message specifically for Ellsworth business owners. So do you want me to go ahead and?
Please do, Shannon. Yeah.
Let's see how this works. All right.
Oh, great.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Love you guys. Just kidding. All right. Here's a shout out to the Heart of Ellsworth Small Business Group. You guys are hanging in there. I guess you're doing a Zoom every weekend or something, once a week. Zooming hard over there in Ellsworth. For all the small business owners in Ellsworth, this is a shout out from Shannon Byers. So hang in there, peeps. Ellsworth is a strong place. You're gonna get back on your feet. Everything's gonna be cracking sooner than later. Because what else we gonna do? All right. Zoom. Hope you're zooming hard today on your Zoom meeting, Ellsworth. Shannon Myers asked me, "Buck, can you do a Zoom bomb on our meeting?" Probably not, Shan. I don't. Who do you think I am? Bill Gates or something? Steve Jobs? I can't come flying, zooming in the middle of your meeting like. So, anyways, you can maybe just play this for them, Shannon, or something. I'll record it. You figure it out from there. But I love you all. Have a great day. Be wicked. Be strong.
I figured we could all use a laugh, and when I thought of who could we call on, it was Bob. And I love at the end, be wicked, be strong, and I think that's such a good message for Ellsworth.
Well, thank you, Bob. We wish that he was here so we could all thank him in person, but we'll have to go in and comment on Facebook. It looks like we have a couple of questions coming in, and I wonder if maybe, Machias, you're able to kind of go through some of those and to see who, I think we have one from Jana. And I think it might be actually for Shannon. It says questions for presenters. Oh, I guess it's for everybody. Okay. Loan programs were slated to get refunded through the passage of this bill. Will there be any changes to the programs, and in parentheses, PPP or EIDL, with this new round of funding that we should be aware of? Great question, Shannon. I mean, Jana, great question.
I don't mind taking that one, Jana. As of right now, we don't have any changes that we know of. However, I wouldn't be surprised at all if some changes do come our way. But as of this moment, we haven't gotten any new guidelines or anything. So hopefully no changes. And I really, really, really hope they don't change the application, because that was kind of a hard point last time. They sent out a possible application, and then the day it went out, they said, nope, we got this new application and you can't use the old application. And so that kind of held us up a little bit. I mean, I personally have already accepted over 20, looks like 25 applications for the next round, so if I had to go back to all these customers, it would be time consuming on your end, time consuming on my end. And that was the whole point, to try to save people. So I really hope they don't change anything on us this time. Fingers crossed, right?
Jana, did you have any follow-up or any points that was everything addressed? Excellent.
I don't have anything extra to add. I think there may be some minor tweaks, not to the application, but maybe to how the funds are allocated. Just waiting on final details before we start to share any information.
Excellent. Thank you, Shannon. Jana, did you feel like your question was addressed, and did you have anything to follow up with?
No, just if there are any changes that we should be aware of, just let us know as soon as possible, because we're an open line of communication as well. And so we just want to make sure that we're giving out the right information to different businesses if there's just small questions. Usually I'll advise them to talk to their bank or to Shannon or someone else, but sometimes you get personal questions. So I just want to make sure that we have all the info. So thank you. And also I'm having a contact lens issue, so I'm going to walk away for a minute, but I'll be back. So thanks again.
Thank you. Were there any other questions in here? I'm having let's see. Oh, yes, Nicole, I did want to call on you in the end. I have 2 more scheduled things, and Nicole was one of them. So please, Nicole, speak up.
Thank you. And definitely good to hear from you guys and the presenters during this time. The thing that I wanted to mention that the governor released yesterday is some information about how to gradually reopen the economy, keeping in mind, of course, public health and the capacity of our medical facilities. And so in partnership with the Department of Economic and Community Development, they have created an online form in which anyone is encouraged to provide their thoughts on how to safely open the economy. So for instance, you know, Brian, you mentioned talking to Bob Merrill, and I've talked to Bob about this also, but that's a great example of explaining why a particular type of store or sector might be able to take a safe approach to reopening. Additionally, and I think Cara will talk about this in a bit, but I think Heart of Ellsworth is willing to compile ideas as well and submit them as an organization, as that might have as much or more weight. But I wanted to let everybody know about that opportunity, and I'll put the link just to the DECD webpage in the chat, and it's the very top link. It says you can use a comment form, but I think this is a great opportunity for everybody to weigh in with their expertise, both in terms of the sector that you work in and in terms of the region, because I know that they are looking for feedback, because as was said, you guys are really the experts on what you do and on this community. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I wanted to address the unemployment concern a little bit. And Julia, I wanted to mention to you that if you want to talk offline about your specific case, I'm happy to try to troubleshoot that a little bit. I know it's been very frustrating for a lot of folks, and a lot of you are in the self-employed category and possibly looking to apply depending on if the PPP came through for you. Thank you for Chris for mentioning the very important other P, which is patience. It's hard to ask for, but it is needed. And I have gotten information from the Department of Labor that they are developing the front-facing system for applying their testing scenarios, but they also still are seeking information from the federal government about how this data syncs with the feds. And you might have heard if you listened to the press conference yesterday, but the states have been threatened a little bit by the Office of the Inspector General that if they don't comply by all the rules, the federal government could claw back the money that was given out. So the state is trying to take a well-informed approach so that we don't get penalized for opening the floodgates a little too soon or ineffectively. So I'm sorry to have to ask for patience on it, but that is where we're at, and they are making progress. And I also wanted to mention that for people that are in the process right now that aren't self-employed, they are trying to make determinations. And last I heard that tonight they will let people know if they were denied and tell them the appeal process, just so that people won't be in limbo. So, and other folks that have particular fact finding, they are going to keep working on that. And they have tried to streamline the process on Attorney General to figure out a way to still follow the federal guidance on that. So hopefully we'll see things moving along on those two fronts. But maybe next Friday we can announce like it's open and everyone applied. But in the meantime, thank you all for waiting. And I can assure you that people are working very hard on it.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And thank you for the information around what the governor is looking for, these sort of pieces of information from the community and their different sectors and how they are trying to safely open up their own businesses. That's a perfect lead into Heart of Ellsworth with a few other community partners. We've put together a survey to try and assess your needs as small business owners in Ellsworth. And we'll be sending out that survey. It's almost done. I hope to send it out this afternoon. Don't hold me to it. We are trying to gather information that will best inform our work and how we can help you move forward and get you the resources that you need as small business owners. And we are going to be putting a couple of the questions that the governor is asking, and like Nicole said, working to compile that information and to submit on behalf of Heart of Ellsworth, that is kind of the voice of many, if you will, and kind of have the ones that kind of keep coming up sort of summarizing those and putting them in a condensed version to submit on the website form. So I'm going to send out the survey to you folks via the email the way I have, and if we're able to, we might even post it on some social media platforms if that seems like it's the right thing to do. Not sure exactly yet, but so we would appreciate if all of you folks would respond, because that helps us figure out what you folks need. So the last item, and I am a little late in ending today, and I do apologize to everyone. I do like to start and end on time, and today I have miserably failed at that, both things. The last thing that I do want to mention, though, Lori Chase of Coastal Interiors and I have been working on a poster project called Finding Our Voices. Leslie Harlow, we heard you loud and clear last week about wanting to see some new things in the window, and this project has actually been in the works now. Lori has been working really hard behind the scenes now for over 2 weeks on this project, and it's been a bit difficult to organize the whole thing. But Lori, maybe you can just speak quickly a little bit on it and see if we can get some more people signed up.
Well, it's a great project, and we can post the link there again. And it's sort of art meets domestic violence awareness. And Patricia's done a really good job telling the people's stories and getting their pictures and putting the content there. And they're very moving. And she's actually got a few of her poster girls, as she calls them, are from the Ellsworth area, which really struck close to home. And so far, I think we have 13 businesses signed up for this 2-foot by 4-foot poster. And we want as many more. Well, she's going to have 20 posters that'll be available. And so we need some more takers on that. But it is something that Maine being in the situation we're in this year, it's going to become more of a hot topic because it's going to be happening with people being frustrated and poor. So I do have an offer for the next 2 businesses that want to sign up. We have custom face masks, handmade, handcrafted by a local artist who sews. I don't know who that would be. A couple styles, you know, so you can take your pick. I've got birds. I've got white, I've got abstract, I've got scalamandre. So give me a call, take your pick.
And Lori, can you stick your number or however you want people to contact you? And they can also contact me too, since we're working on this together, but can you just stick that in the chat feature? Maybe Coastal Interiors phone number or something would be,
sure.
Be great. And thanks for the giveaway. Giveaways are always a nice motivator. I might
always
be. Good. Folks, thank you so much. I have to say that today we've had more folks on the call than ever, so I guess this is still working, it seems like. We're looking at ways to kind of shift the format of this call to make things a little bit better as we are all working to try and shift to this reopening and getting creative. And Shannon Byers from SBDC and CEI and I are working on trying to figure out how to work with the formatting and to maybe possibly do some breakout sessions and sort of turn this into a bit of a think tank to start to address some of the ideas and ways that possibly we can all begin reopening. So we hope that you'll stick with us and continue this Friday afternoon call. And we really hope that each of you will go out and support your local businesses that are open today and for the weekend and always. And we thank you all for being on the call. And again, thank you to Machias Savings Bank. This has been really great. So everybody have a good week. Thank you.